Okay, so we're going to continue around the eye for this one. Now I know that on this part that I'd had the bit of pigment of the ready pencil in there, but this should actually, layering up should actually cover that anyway. So we're just going to work under this part because, so I'm just going to use a bit of the black. There we go, just to sort of lengthen and just darken that bit, because then what we need to do then with the burnt umber is to add in that slightly darker bit around there with the brown. There we go, so that brings in a bit of a shade on that part. Okay, and just going to bring in a bit more of that Venetian red. Just to sort of plot in the colours here. So just have a really close look at the direction that the fur is going in. Just going to be plotting down to here. If you see that it's actually going down that way as well. And then it sort of goes up that way as well. So we're just going to be very faint on this part, because then this bit here is going to change into a different sort of shade. Just remember to follow the direction there. And there it goes, extra dark there. But it's also got the tones of the reddy richness of the browns as well. So this part goes in across like that. And just look at the direction there. So it's a shorter piece there. There we go, just going across to there. And then we've got, yeah, that part. So you've got that bit there, and then it reaches to about there, and then it goes back down to about that part there. Sorry if you can hear voices. I'm upstairs, and husband and son are downstairs doing the washing up. But yeah, anyway, so there we go. So if we just go down that way, that's what comes to filming in a household. You can actually generally hear what's going on in the rest of the house. There we go. So you can see, because I lifted that part out where we'd plotted it in after we did the eyes at the beginning, I just wanted to sort of remove it, just to sort of build in the rest of the colour around it. And then we have to look at that part there. That's it, on that way. see, it's just, you can see the depth of the colour around the eye now, where we've built up a bit of the colour. So I'm just going to carry on working up here again. And there you go, just goes around that part there and to about there. And then I'm just going to add in a bit of that burnt umber. So we've been lucky in the fact that, you know, we've been able, because even though this paper hasn't got a lot of tooth to it, and we can't generally add a lot of depth and many layers on this kind of paper, it just goes to show that if you hold the pencil light enough, you can actually just build up the colours lovely. You can sort of, you know, see all the different colours underneath, and you're still able to get a really good effect with the art, you know, with the whole of the different fur qualities of the fox going on. So you just have to sort of lightly touch the paper and just very gently build up the colours, and you can get some really good tonal values coming in there. And just a bit around the eye, a bit like that, because that part is slightly darker. We're just going backwards and forwards gently, just gradually building up that colour. So we've got that line art bit coming through just there, but I'm just going to take a natural line from it and just build from it. So that it blends in nicely. So we're getting quite a nice rich colour around that eye, and then once we've worked our way around this part, we'll build up around this eye, and it'll look just as nice and rich and developed as this one's going to be. So we're just bringing that bit that's darker on that side of the eye. We're just going to bring in the root of the fur around it because it's darker. And just about bringing that colour in and merging it so that it's got a natural merge of the colour. I just want to bring in some of the Pablo brownish beige into this part, just for a bit of base colour. add some more of the sanguine in here as well. It's like really gradually building up quite nicely around here. You can just really see it all falling into place. Just gonna add not add but subtract a bit of the colour with the Tombow eraser, and like I said, you can just use a sharp point of the one that's in your in your box if you don't have one of these. I mean, if I didn't have one of these, maybe what I would probably do is if I just had the same rubbers that you've got in your boxes, then what I might do would be to carefully slice a sharp wedge like off so that you've got a sharp corner. But depends if you really want to do that. Okay, so you've got that light bit there. Okay, here's my brush. Excuse me. So yeah, if you look on the reference photo, you've got that slight line there, and then behind that line, just going to try with the sanguine. Just going to try and get a sharper point on that, just a slight sharpen. Yeah, that'll do. And this is where it looks like you're building up a slight ridge. Just like very gentle with it. And it's just, it's just really effective. As you can see, you don't sort of necessarily, you have to sort of draw a harsh line, but if you just subtract it and then just blend behind it, you can get a really good finish on it. So I'm just going to use the Venetian red on that part as well. Yeah, and then excuse me, just going to use the sanguine again. I'm just going to blend underneath. Because what we've also got as well, it's going to have like a step up around here as well. And so the sanguine and the Venetian red is going to go underneath it. And then I'm just going a bit of the Venetian red. So again, it's just all about playing with the subtraction, add in, until you get the texture and the detail that you want. So when you look at this under here, this part's going to be a pretty dark browny shadow. And just going to go with the burnt umber again. So you may have noticed we've actually excuse me, tended to sort of stick with the similar colours from around this part, and because it's a slightly different colour, this colour scheme on this side is slightly different around here to what it is around here. So if you look at your picture, your reference photo, that's more just like just browns, and this side is reddy rich browns. So it's all kind of it's more, this side's more vibrant than that colour. Than that side. So yeah, and this part just needs to be built up, and this does a bit more. I mean, we've got the highlights and everything there, but we just need to change the colours on this side, make it a bit brighter around here. So I think on this side we'll add some more of like the sanguine on this part, but some of this fur around here has got darker roots, so, but they are a different side. So you may have noticed in that half we used more of a variety of pencil, whereas this half it tends to sort of be, we tend to be sticking with the same scheme of pencils. Okay. So just gonna carry on with this part very lightly again. And if this is like your first, you know, actual detailed picture in colour pencils, you know, and this is all different to what, you know, different to what you're used to or what you would expect, you'll find the more, you know, different projects that you do, practice, you'll get used to sort of seeing the colour. You'll also get used to different sort of methods of you know, the different surfaces. They'll also have like different techniques for each kind of surface. So so, you know, if this is your first one, you know, don't worry if it doesn't look like mine, it's fine. Everyone's got different levels of experience, abilities, and, you know, like I keep saying, it's just like, you know, everyone's is going to be different. It's just nice to be able to just sit down, draw, you know, just relax. If you had a tough day at work or any other situation, it's just so nice to sort of just be able to sit down and just relax. You know, either follow a tutorial, listen to music whilst you're doing it, that kind of a thing. Right. Whilst we've gone darker on this part, I am going to use the subtraction technique with it. Just going to make sure that I've got things plotted right. So around here there's a slightly darker part there. briefly in with that Venetian red. Alright. Okay. So you can sort of see that we're gradually building up the darker bit here, and you can see at the edge of the, you know, when you're looking at your reference photo and on the screen, it's a good idea to sort of refer to both, because you might see something different in each one, but you know, you'll see something different. So having them together, working off them together, is always a good idea. That part there's slightly darker as well. You can get some really good detail with polychromos pencils, but you know, you can pretty much with most pencils. See, this bit here does have a lot of lightness to it, so at the moment I'm just plotting in the dark roots of the, I suppose it's similar, it's linked to the eyebrow. But then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to subtract a bit off of it and then just go in and add a bit more colour to it. Yeah, because this bit, yeah, you've got the darker bit there, and then what will happen is you've got like the cheek part going down there, but then you're also going to have some fur coming out this way, nice fluffy fur. Yeah, because, you know, let me just grab a pencil. Just gonna, any pencil will do. What have we got here? 2H, that'll be fine. I'm just gonna plot in some of the lines here. So we've got fur coming out. This is the dark whisker coming out there. Then you've got fur. So you might not be able to see this much because this is a 2H pencil, so it's quite light. It's a hard lead, but it doesn't actually come out, you know, sort of like a heavy colour like the B pencils do, because they're softer. So just want to make sure that's coming out in the right angle. So we've got from there, it kind of like goes roughly around there. So that came down there. Just talking out loud for a minute. Yeah, and then you've got that bit there. Bit going down there. And actually that comes out there. Just want to make sure I'm not coming down too far, I'm not going in the wrong direction. So yeah, so actually what I need to do there is that part should come down. It's kind of a bit straighter than that part, that's the round part. And then we've got yeah, it comes slightly out and then up that way. So I'm just plotting in where the lower part of the face is. Just for guidance. So we've got that there. And we've got that there. So I quite like plotting with the 2H. Whenever I'm sketching, like say like it's any portraits and stuff like that, I always like to sketch in a 2H. Some people prefer the HBs or the B pencils, but I've always really liked the lighter pencils. So I want that up there. So we got that coming down there, like that, and then you've got, yeah, then you've got that coming up there, and then down, yeah, up to about there. That's it. And then yeah, just so I can see where it is. But it's pretty handy to do that, and it gives me some more guidelines of where I'm going for when we start moving down here. Because I didn't actually, when I did this, I mean it might have been different for you, you might have actually included this bit around here, but I actually didn't for some reason. So yeah, so although I've given you line art which has got loads and loads of lines on it, you don't have to include them, but if you're going to leave some out, just make sure you've got, you know, the right part, you know, you've got the right guidelines left in there. So that, so you've got a bit from there, so that's the white part there, and then it goes around like that. So actually, after putting that in, it looks a lot better. Got that, and then from there it comes down. Got that bit. So we've got the fur flicking out there, and then we want that bit there. So we can go back to the round here in a moment. I just have to plot this in. Yeah, and then we've got round there. Yeah, so this is the bit where the grey comes in, and you've got the outline of the reds, well, the Venetian red and the sanguine there, and then this part is where the you know, the front, you know, the front of the fur goes. There we go. So in through there and there, and I just want to make sure got that bit in there. And so how helps. Even though you have, like, if you've got line art, it still helps to know whether, when you know, the perspective of the drawing and bits that you've missed out, like I've done. It helps to know where they go. So we want, there we go, we've got that part there. Just going to shade that bit in there so that I know this part is the dark part in there. And we've got, that's a dark part there. And then we've got that. So it's another rough line there. Doesn't need to be absolute bang on, but you know, it helps to have roughly you know the bits in rough place where you're going to take it to. So then the lightness on this side is round to about here. And right, so we've got round here is the lighter part of the sanguine and the Venetian red in there, and then just make sure I've got that outlined, and then this part is the remainder of the darker parts there of the main colour of the fox's fur. So there's more of it on that side, and it's more of a lighter tone on this side with the greys. And so we've got, yeah, so we've got that bit there, and it comes down about there, and then we've got, that goes, yeah, that goes that way, and then we've got that bit coming under. There, that looks better already now that I've added in the rest of the guidelines. Yeah, that's it. That looks better. Right, okay. So we will crack on again with this. I think I need to take out some more of that colour on the outside part here. So we are getting some good sort of wisps of fur going on around here, but this bit, although we've got the dark bit going under here, we need take some of the tone out, and then I think we just need to make it a bit more browny. Let's go in with the raw umber, the light brown. So pretty much, you know, as I say, a lot of the basic colour pencil packs, the ones that aren't like, you know, big brand names, they do have labels on the barrel of the pencil to sort of show you, you know, you've got your different umber, burnt umber, raw umber, that kind of a thing. So they are pretty good like that. But if you haven't got that, then just let me know, and then I can tell me what you do have, and then I can let you know what's a good substitution. So you've got that dark bit there, but that bit's lighter, so we just want to make sure that light bit stands out, because then underneath it's darker. Just add a bit more definition around here as well. So you can see it's got a real nice flick and softness about it, which makes it look quite fluffy. And that's a good thing, you know, when you're doing that, because then, although with the line art we initially had that strong outline, if you can subtract the or remove enough pigment away, but just give yourself a faint guideline, you can go over it and then just flick the ends, and then you can see you've got, like, you know, quite a fluffy edge to it. And you can do the same sort of thing with, like, if you're drawing like kittens and stuff like that, like fluffy kittens, that will give you the same effect as well. Still got that bit there to cover up, but it will, you know, once we add some more colour to it. I'm just gently flicking the edge of this. Whilst it is a bit of a orangey, yellowy, browny colour, the raw umber, I just want to sort of, you know, plot in the edges. But I'm just going to add some sanguine on the top of that. You can see it's actually building up nicely, and we're getting more of a natural flow of the colour, whereas this here we just marked it in with you know, with the line, just to sort of get the colour in, and then so that we could build up that part. So once we do get back round that area, then we'll remove some of this, and then we'll make it a lot more natural. I'm going to see if I can, well, not see if I can, I'm going to add some of the roots of the fur in, just to sort of build it up a bit, like we did around here. I mean, at the moment, if you look at the eyes, they're kind of very bright compared to the reference photo. So at the end, once I can see what this is all looking like with all the colour added and we've defined everything more with a bit more layer in, then I'll have a look at the eyes at the end and just sort of see how dark we can go with it, because I don't want to make it too dark, and then it makes them all flat, but they do need a little something added to it. So right underneath that, this part, it goes down like that, where that whisker is poking out. So whilst I've just plotted that whisker in, actually I'm not going to do it with that colour, I'm going to do it with the brownish beige. It just gives us a good guideline of the direction that the fur is going to take around there. And it's just going down that way. We're going to go in over it anyway afterwards. I mean, this really is, I am really pleased with this, how this is going. It's becoming lifelike. That's what I like about coloured pencils is, you know, yeah, you do have to put a bit of work in it because it does take longer, but it's just when you sort of you're adding all these different colours and you're having a look about what you're doing, and suddenly it's coming to life, you know, on the paper, and it's such a great feeling because it's like, you know, you can sort of say, oh, you know, I've really done this, I've really brought this to life. And yeah, that's what I really like about art, and you know, just having the patience of, like, you know, going with it and just see where it takes you, and then suddenly, you know, you've got this, it's come to life, and this is like, wow, you know, when I first started doing this a while ago, and the very first project I did, I was kind of really surprised about what I was able to do with colour pencils, because lots of people, when you sort of think, oh, you know, you call yourself an artist and stuff like that, and you know, people automatically think, oh, you use paints, but there is a skill with using colour pencils, and it was an odd feeling with the fact that, you know, I was drawing for a while, but I still didn't see myself as an artist. And basically anyone who draws regularly is an artist. You don't have to be like selling stuff or anything like that. You just have to be drawing and creating, and you know, that's when you're an artist. So when you're, you know, working your way through the subscription boxes and you're drawing, and even if you're not following one of my subscription boxes, you're taking on your own projects and things like that, you're an artist. So anyone who draws or creates is an artist. Just sort of plotting in a bit more here. So around this part is the bit that's going to be really sort of quite dark, and around there, because this is the cheek. But then it goes, it's going this way. So I'm just plotting in that colour there. Just want to get this on, and then I'm just gonna, before we finish with this this episode, I'm probably gonna bring in some of the white watercolour pencil. There you go, that's what I wanted to say. So right, we've got that bit going in that direction. So that's the bit under the eye. And then we've got, then it comes down that way. So it's got a slight curve to it where it's on the cheekbone and under the eye socket. So you can already see it's taken a slight curved look about it. We're going to have that line's not going to be there, although you can see a line. It's going to be blended with the fur coming down that way. This is going to be slightly different. We just plotted in some of the colour because, let me just grab that pencil again. So we've got the bit that goes there, and then we've got so we've got that line there, and we want the bit there, and that bit, oh, I don't want that one, that's the HB, so you can see it's darker. Yeah, that bit, and then we got, yeah, got that bit going round slightly. And then from there we've got, yeah, that bit there, and that's a dark bit there. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Just wanted to make sure that bit was right, because if you get it wrong around here, it can look a bit crooked. Okay, let's go back to this part a minute. Right, okay, so we've got this part here, looks like it's going round where the whisker is. So it looks like it's going around that way. So whilst it kind of like doesn't, it looks like we're drawing a line there, what it does, it just allows us to work out where we're going, because then this bit goes underneath and it's becomes lighter, and then that's it from there. You've got the darker bit there, which is along that bit. And then that comes in around there. Like that. Okay, so I'm going to add a bit in of the, just get this, the white museum mackerel. Just going to see if I can get a bit of a tip on this. I'm not using the right pencil sharpener for it because this is quite a thicker barrel, but I'm just going to add in some bits on that fluffy eyebrow part. So it's around that part. I mean, if we have to subtract, then we'll subtract, but I'm just going to try and build up the layers on there. And then what I might have to do is, well, we might have to do is add some other brown to bring out the roots of the fur around there. Just make sure that we don't get any pigment on there. That's it. Okay, so just gonna go in a bit with that, the sanguine. Right, and I want to add in some of the raw umber again. Around there's quite a bit built up there as well. Okay, just gonna, so I put a kind of like built up, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, there's a bit of white around there, but I just want to go in and define it a bit more so it's not a white clump, like that. Just gonna bring a bit more underneath there. Just very gently. So we're not colouring in over the top of it, but you can still see it's got a bit of, you know, you can see the strands of the fur. And then we can go in like that, because it is darker underneath there. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Okay. Right. I'm going to try a bit of the Caput Mortem Violet. Just get a little sharp point on that. That's it. And I'm just going to try a bit of that on there. I've obviously got to go careful because I don't want it to be too muddy but I just think it just needs a bit of that reddy colour brown on it, because I think that's going to work well on this part here. And even though we're going to use darker colours around here, you can still use the subtraction technique. There's a bit under there as well. It's kind of like got a reddy brown to it under the eye there. Build that up a bit. So even now, after sort of collecting, like buying my pencils individually over the past few years, when it comes to Christmas or anything like birthdays or anything, I still ask if I can have art stuff, because although yeah, art's my business, I don't see it as work, because I really enjoy it, and so I still ask for things to do with art for Christmas and for birthdays, which is, I suppose, generally a good thing, because my birthday's just before Christmas, so you know, and my husband and son don't have to think too much about what to get for me, because I already know what I want. Anything to do with art, books, like postcards, pencils. Never get bored with art. Art's always been a constant happy thing in my life. So if you've got like a birthday or Christmas or whatever coming up, then I expect maybe that's probably what you'll be asking for from now on. But you don't have to get full sets of pencils. I know I've mentioned this before, because you might not tend to use them. It depends on what you're going to draw. I mean, here we're using a lot of browns, oranges and reds in different kind of shades and everything. So, but then I suppose if you were to draw something like a, I don't know, like a tree frog or something, then you've got loads of greens and stuff that you're going to use, or if you were going to draw something like a peacock or something, then you've got greens and blues and stuff like that. So it depends on what you want to draw. And also, I mean, don't forget, if there's anything that you'd like to see in the subscription boxes, then send us a message or put it on the Facebook group, and we can draw all these different animals. So that going like that. So I'm just gonna briefly pop this in, and then next time round what we'll do is we'll work I'll just add a bit of a darker bit there. Then what we can do is we'll add a bit more going around here, and then we can work on this part, and then maybe finish off down the muzzle, and then we can once we've done all that part, then we can work on the nose, and then bringing it all in around here. So we'll be working in different colours, so these colours will all be the different greys, tones of greys and blacks, but it would be like the warm and the cold greys that we'll be working on. need to make sure that's that direction. So it's looking a bit ready at the moment, but what we'll do is we will next time go over that with browns, but we just want this as like kind of like an undercoat kind of a thing. Bearing in mind that this part's going to be a lighter brown anyway around there. I just want to make sure that just bring that in a bit there. Okay, so yeah, next time we'll carry on working on this part. We will define this part a bit more, so that this bit would include the underneath part of that. Yeah, we'll just work on that part, and then if we've got time we'll come round and do the nose, but if not, that'll be on the next session after that. Okay then, hope it's all going well for you, and yeah, I'll see you next time.